Thomas, thank you for that wonderful introduction. I could say who invited him in the audience, but unfortunately that was me. So I have to take responsibility for that. It becomes quite difficult to top the preceding chats I've been had with you all, but I'm going to try and give it a bash. So today I'm just going to reflect for a few minutes on my journey with Cebu, and I think the tagline is quite important, and that's so far, because it's not a journey that's ended. It's really just one that's started, and it's certainly continuing. So they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and hopefully this next slide can represent just some of the images that I have and thoughts of Cebu as a principal of Freedom Primary School in Freedom Park in Soweto. And I don't think I could find sufficient images to actually represent sufficiently what Cebu really is. So I thought I was going to join the school and assist this principal. And I think these images up on the board are really a great reflection and representation of who I think Cebu is. And he's all of these things, not only in one day, but probably in every hour. And I saw that in talking to him, in how he behaves with his educators, his learners, his colleagues in our circle, and the wonderful elements of the powerful Superman down to Mother Teresa, the gentle person there to support, the helping hand, the educator, the leader, the inspirational one, and somebody who does so humbly. And it's rare that you find so many of these amazing qualities all in one individual. And so that's just really the initial introduction into Cebu. I guess a really important part of this program, very difficult for me as a leader in a company who's very outcomes focused and wants to measure and get stuck in, and was told for the first 3 to 4 months that I only had one job, and that was to shut up and observe. And just focus on getting to know my partner. And really, on reflection, we should do a lot more of that in business and in life with the people that we interact with. And it is really about the foundation of relationships. And on the first day that we met, all Cebu was interested in, he didn't care where I worked or what title I had, was tell me about your family, tell me about your wife, your kids, and I'm taking you on this tour of Soweto. But not this tour that everyone else does. I'm going to take you and show a real tour of Soweto. And I thought, he's just being polite or what have you. And I can tell you, every single time I spoke to him, he was on about me about when we're going to do that tour. And I'm proud to say that there's myself and my lovely family with Cebu and his lovely daughter there. But really, it's about the reflection of relationships. So delving into a bit more detail about being humble and surprised, you're familiar with the picture of the fisherman there. And I think what's really important to understand about this program, I thought this was us as business leaders going to help principals. But really got a really pleasant awakening when I arrived. This is not about us as business leaders going to teach the principals how to fish. Because I can tell you when you arrive there, you actually see that they're remarkably good fishermen. And it's really just an opportunity to go and sit alongside them and offer some words of advice. And have you thought of fishing in that spot? Have you thought of using this bait? Have you thought of trying that different technique? But please, there's by no means going to teach them how to fish. Interesting, when you look at this slide, what you might think of, and some cynics in the room might look at this and say, is that the white monopoly capital? But this is actually a really, really important slide, and it's really about the program. And this program is not about handouts. This is not about corporates going to give and just donate to the school, because we all know that that is unsustainable. And I really urge anybody that is considering this or involved, schools don't need handouts. Our economy, our country is not going to survive by people just handing out, but rather working with people. Having said that, I share a lot of the similar challenges that perhaps Thomas had. And that's these perspectives, and I couldn't find an image that represented the divide that we have between what our perceptions are from the corporate world to what reality is like on the ground. You know, in the corporate world, I'm the CEO of a business. I can tell people what to do, when to do it, focus on a very specific outcome, be there at a specific time, do what I tell you when. And the reality is you have to learn. The principles have enormous pressures on them. They have enormous challenges. And to reflect on what Savantika said, it's actually about just being appreciative for the fact that people show up. And that's really the important thing. And like Thomas, we had a similar scenario. Subu and I, all the great stuff you've heard about, but we start our journey, and within 1 month, great, Subu gets a fantastic promotion into government, into moving to GDE. Fantastic, he takes it on, believes he can make a bigger difference and change, but is expected now to do two full-time jobs. But that didn't fit in with my plans. Because my plans is I was going to come along and help the school and fix things. And it really is an opportunity just to kind of reflect. And that was the difficult journey that I had to go through in this process. Having said this, and I'm watching the clock, and I know Savanti is going to be onto me very quickly. The remarkable thing about this program, and I reflect, and I'm a bit sorry initially that I was perhaps arrogant enough to think that I'm going to walk in there and help this so-called school and principal and fix these things, is the amazing personal benefit that I got for myself. The first course, called Time to Think, remarkably changed how I lead and the ability to listen. Hopefully my wife in the audience might support the fact that I did try to listen a little bit better. But I really just want to reflect on the end of this journey is the profound impact it had on me. And I certainly believe every leader, CEO, and business owner should participate in a course like this. And really, without further ado, this is not the end of it, but it's simply the next chapter. I don't think I need to say any more other than welcome, Subu.
Thank you, Steve.
Where do these presentations all sit?
Do I need a mic? I thought I have a teacher's voice. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Good evening, colleagues. I just only have 60 seconds to talk about my journey. Indicated at the principal of Freedom Primary School. And this is my partner, Steve. The guy that I fell in love with the first time I saw him. No pun intended. But who is he? This is the man who is a visionary. An opportunity also to be at his workplace and also to engage him. He always thinks ahead. He's always able to say, I'm not happy with where I am. And he always wants to be somewhere else. He's always driven. And one thing that I also know that he's a good communicator and an eagle, because there are two types of people. We've got the chicken and we've got an eagle. And chickens are happy with the worms, but the eagles, they soar very high, looking for the best fish in the sea. And that's who Steve is. Not only does he talk, he walks the talk. So whatever he says, if he commits and if you've committed to him, then you make sure that you are able to do what both of you have agreed. He's a warm person. And these are some of the attributes and the values that I've learned from him. Also, issue of being sincere, a person that you can trust, you can rely on, and his commitment, and above all, his honesty. My challenge is then as a principal, when I joined the program, I felt I've arrived. The program is here to give me, because I've got challenges as an office school in terms of funding. Challenges in terms of safety and security, because my school is in an informal settlement where one experiences burglary now and then. Learner discipline, governing body that is there but that still needs to be capacitated. The community that is not involved but wants to make demands within the school. Having an SMT, but we're not necessarily a cohesive team, but we're still a group of individuals. And my expectations in joining the program was that now that I've got a CEO, there will be handouts. And I also believe that at least the bank balance, Julius, something is coming my way. My dream of building a school hall has now arrived. My dream of resuscitating and having a computer room for my learners is at hand. My dream to build a kitchen, because we feed learners, all of them at school. These were my challenge to say at least the CEO of Sequentially has come. But the reality is, in our engagement, there was no funding. And we were told that he's the partner to empower me, to be able to break the shackles in terms of taking away that mindset, ensuring that there's a change of how one thinks, because we're not supposed to be able, and because one of our discussion is, don't fish for me, teach me how to fish, so that tomorrow when you're not there, I will be able to go to the stream or to the river to be able to fish for myself. And this is where we agreed. We're going to start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. My frustrations, just after I've joined the program, I had to be seconded to the Department of Basic Education nationally. That put brakes in some of what we had planned. Time for us to execute our plans, to juggle around the roles and responsibilities, and the issues of the changing of the mindset and expectations. But what did I learn from the program? Again, time to think, priceless. The power of a circle in a team. This is unbelievable. Where then we begin to see everyone on equal footing, regardless of position. And I wish we had time, you would see Savantiga at best in this issue of the power of cycle. The value of contracting, part of the workshop that we did, so that you're able to contract, whether it's your teacher or whether it's your HOD or deputy, this value in terms of contracting. I wish if there's one skill that I want to learn or to steal, bro, it's your wife's ability to listen. And she would be able to articulate every word. You can say 500 words, she will give you 500 words in the same order that we gave. And that's what we have learned, the power to listen, to appreciate, and also to mirror each other. Understanding that change starts with self and also building the community. Every solution is within ourselves. And from my business partner, patience and commitment. He's very tall, but he's patient. and he's committed to the cause. The importance of the family. If he speaks about his wife and his kids, just look at his expression on his face. That's who Steve is. Thinking ahead, I've spoken about this, that you need to challenge yourself and set the bar very high in the value of time. It's very punctual. If you say 2 o'clock, it does not mean 2 for 3. It means 2 for 1:45. And I've experienced that at his workplace because I had to visit with his team. He was there, and everything has to be done within the time frame. And also he shared with me on how to draw a business plan. I attended one of his meetings with his team. One thing that I've learned is that you need to make your team account for their projects in accordance to the plans that they've given you as a leader. So I think I'm almost there. So what next? Life is like a book. Some chapters are sad, some are happy, some are exciting. But if you ever turn the page, you will never know what the next chapter has in store for you. And so, the adventure begins. This is where my partner and I have agreed there is no divorce. We're forging ahead. Thank you very much. Now I have to introduce the next journey. It is unfortunate that one of the partner was supposed to be here, but he fell ill this morning. And he tried to make sure that at least he consult with the doctor so that he is able to make it. But unfortunately, he could not. But you must have watched him and the partner. It's oil and water, 2 different characters. But they were able to click. So I'm going to speak about the partner that is here. They say dynamite comes in small packages. And this is who she is. We were told some of the names. We had the magician, we had the warrior, we had the visionary and others. And one of the things that we had to unconsciously able to tell who the person is. And there was no need for one to think and to lie and to guess, because we were able as a family to get to know each other. And this is who she is. That magician that is able to make things happen. Very bubbly. When she comes, she just brightens the house. She will make everyone laugh. Even if we are angry, we have eaten your lemons, she will just put an 8, it becomes a lemonade. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to bring on stage to give you her journey, Catherine.